So as we enter the month of June, we find ourselves dealing with a lot of challenges that this spring has thrown at us and's not done yet giving us those challenges. We found ourselves with one of the wettest springs across the entirety of the Corn Belt that we've had in a long time, maybe since 1995. And now that the ground's dried out a little bit, the crop's regained its color, and we've got our crops for the most part in, we find ourselves with a new set of challenges to deal with. And I think one of the biggest ones that we're going to be facing from here on out is the roots that are underneath these plants. Hi, I'm Keith Byerly, Precision Ag Manager at Central Valley Ag, and this is your Precision Focus that corresponds with the article on the CVA blog site. So, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about what's happening underneath these plants. That's a topic more suited for Mike Swingman and the Agronomy Reach Out. But what I am going to talk about a little bit is how we got to where we are today and what we're going to have to do from this point forward. So as we look at this crop today standing in the field, we know we've got some challenges. We entered the month of June with the soil that's mostly saturated. We've got excellent ground moisture underneath this crop, which in many ways is going to inhibit to a point our root development from this point forward. Unless we get hot and dry, these crops really aren't going to have a need to start rooting down and really look for moisture in the short term. So from that standpoint, our root development is going to be a bit inhibited. From another standpoint, we planted in some wet, cold soils. We've had a lot of cold to go along with this wet, and we've just got some things messed up with the plants. Again, like I said, this is a topic better suited for Mike. But what I know from here is that we've really got two choices. We can come out here and dig plants up every few days and try to monitor what's going on with our roots, or we can turn to our ally here in the Aqua Systems platform and let it do some of those same things for us electronically. So with our Aqua Systems sensor that's in the ground, we get a lot of advantages. One of those being that this is a high definition probe. We have sensors every 4 inches on these probes to a depth of 40 inches, giving us very high definition, very high resolution information on how these plants are going to develop over the next 30 to 60 days and where our root activity is at. We'll be able to see where they're actively pulling water and nutrients from throughout this growing season, so that we're not just basing decisions off of what's happening at the surface, but really how great these plants have a footprint underneath them and a foundation underneath them to feed what we need. And really, that's my take home for today. I want you to focus on this crop and how it develops. Like I said, we could spend every other day out here digging up plants, or we can trust the electronics to give us those same readings. If you don't have an Aqua Systems probe going into this season, I want you to latch on to an FSA or your neighbor that does have one and follow along. We're going to spend a lot more of these Precision Focus videos this summer talking about our crops in the Aqua Systems platform, not just on how to irrigate them, not just on the amount of water we're using and where we can save it, but how this root pattern's developing underneath it and what our realistic expectations are for yield and how we need to manage nitrogen and water to get to those places.